gaming bets. Online betting for every esports fan. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and Overwatch, StarCraft 2, the choice is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2? Make a prediction for picks and bans. Play CSGO? Discover more than 5 various kinds of bets just for a single map. Daily quests for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.
Getting tired of playing with the usual skins, but don't have enough money to buy a new one? Get rich fast with csgofast.com. CS Go Fast. It's a strong chance of winning in every game. Several rooms with different game modes. Daily, more than 1,000 games, 5,000 players, and 25,000 skins at stake. You don't need much in order to sweep the board.
Welcome back to the Starladder I-League Star Series Season 2. My name is TomBiz14. Joining me will be Flakes, and we've just witnessed the dismantling of Faze.
That's basically just a masterclass on how to dismantle a team who've just beaten us 16-5.
Yeah, no, logically that made very little sense. Like,
little? Didn't make any sense
yeah,
at all.
No,
There's not even a smithering out there that, you could just go, yeah, that's totally normal.
Just Faze things, though. We actually spoke about that before the game, the fact that they are a team that can just flip-flop. But normally when it comes to teams of a, well, I suppose lower tier or not quite as talented roster, you could say, especially in how much they're worth, I suppose, as players, you look at the fact that they normally destroy those sort of teams. But in that game, they didn't even destroy them in a round. There was a couple of Tech 9 forces that maybe went their way and shouldn't have done. But that was it. That really was it. They won next to nothing. Very disappointing in most rounds. The pistols didn't look convincing at all. They were missing a load of shots. And, well, didn't even really get to see the AWP on Alu too much. And when we did, wasn't really impressed by that either. So really worried going on to this second map. We are looking, of course, at Cobble. Armor all the way across the board, and the only real change to the buy is the fact that Glaive has gone for a 5-7 with a flashbang. But looking like we're going to see a bit of an aggressive push coming out from the Faze side.
Team X actually opting to put 2 members over towards A. They are going quick on the hills to rotate. Now they have the information in play, but look at Snappy right up behind them, finds 2. And a dominating pistol round coming on the board from Team X. But Alu going to be trying to claw something, but it's just not going to work. Glaive going to be the man to take him down. Now Rain, well, you can try. You're in a 1 versus 5, and Valde is going to be there to just take your head clean off, and you're going to be left with nothing at all. Faze just being demolished very early on into this pistol round.
Sorry, which one of these is Faze? The one with the heavy aim individuals who individually can take rounds by storm? Because I'm not sure either. We've got all the names wrong and all the teams wrong, or Team X are just looking like the better team at this stage. It is early, but that was dominant.
Do you know what comes to mind? It's that video that's, when you're a fan of a team, and it's when you're a Faze fan. I don't know if you've seen it. It's great. There's quite a lot for other teams, so that's all that comes to mind. I'm sure other people will know what I'm talking about if you don't go on quiet, but that's how I'm feeling right now, because it just feels like already crucial mistakes being made, just annihilated in that pistol round. We are fairly all into things, so maybe there is a shred of hope to bring things back, but I know that if I've just lost 16-4 to a team I've just beaten, my heart might not be quite content, but it will be Jake to kick things off with a CZ, doing the damage, takes down Glaive, looking to take it one step further. He will gain the UMP, but now can they find the frags?
Yeah, looking to see the trades come in. Valde will grab one more. Of course, having a phenomenal first map. One of the best performances I think I've ever seen from him. Just really impressed. Absolutely dominating all the way across the board. 13-0 at one point. But now we're looking to see if he can continue this one on. Snappy waiting over towards this drop-down position already. We're going to see AZ peek out, get dinked, and then go, no, I'm okay, not going that way anymore. Smoke will fall down, but actually goes behind Snappy, leaving him with clear vision. But in the meantime, they're going to go pushing. Rain will take one, but it's already for a 2-man trade. Modi looking to try and do a little bit of extra damage already, taking both players very low on HP. And this just leaves Keo trying to make this one work.
Snappy going to find both of them. Keo left with no opportunity to do anything at all. Which means Team X, they find themselves perched onto Faze. Nothing at all they can put into this round. Fairly the expected outcome, as you usually roll into your third, and well, you don't really get yourself too much to play with. Which means they're just going to be idling on this kind of 2,000, 3,000 down marker. Take a look at Alu. He's the player with the most money. That's going to be ideal. It means that he can save for the EWP. But even then, it's going to mean 5 Glocks coming onto the board, or at least a P250 entering the mix. But there is no utility, there is no armor. This should just be a sweet money-making round coming in from Team X. So we're going to be looking to make some money and more freeze. He's going to do just that, mows them down. Snappy doing some work of his own, albeit not making quite as much money. But even then, it doesn't really matter.
I love the mentality from Jacob there. Just keep running. They can't see you. Just keep running. Maybe I'll do a Neo and just dodge all the bullets. No, doesn't happen. He's taken down. Freeze going to buy up an AWP alongside his counterpart of Alu. Bit of a bonus round coming up. Modi still with the UMP, but there's plenty of positions that this weapon can be viable. Wouldn't be surprised if he either played close plat or just goes into drop down and tries to play from there. Freeze going to be looking over the smoke, but the flashbang will do its work. It counters any sort of aggression we will see from him. And now we see whether or not Faze have come to play on this map, or whether they will be the same lackluster team we saw in the last.
That's the thing. I'm looking to see them step up to the mark. I want to see some good CS coming to the table from Faze. But already map control doesn't look it's quite working out in their favor. They are trying to creep up towards long. It's going to be AZ leading the charge with the AWP of Alu there to back him up. But Snappy, he's holding this corner. What will he get unable to walk away with the frag? It's Glaive just dancing over towards B. Alu still just going to be creeping around himself. Snappy is just playing this one very safe. He's just going to hold the angle nice and flat. AZ should know this is a common position, but he's not even going to check it. Snappy to kick things off, and he finds the first strike dropping down, looking for one more. Jackiem will come in with a trade. But even then, it's going to be that 4 versus 4 scenario where FaZe gave away a very easy pick.
Yeah, not the best start already. It will be traded out, so not the worst case scenario. They've still got the UMP in play, which isn't ideal. 45 seconds left on the clock, looking for FaZe to slowly build back into this one. Freeze making a bit of a sound cue, but allowing his teammate a little bit more of a free roam to rotate around. And well, it looks like they are now dedicated to this A site. The rotation would be far too risky and take far too long for them to actually get anywhere near the site. Now we're looking for this build-up. Now we're looking for these 2 players to do their damage, and it's going to be that jump over, trying to bait out the shot from Freeze, but he's actually going to rotate away, and Alu is fixated on this position while not really gaining anything, and there goes Alu. Nice shot from Freeze, will be caught out in the open, somehow still alive. I think he's shocked by that, but this is the position. Modi in the corner. He could just catch this bomb out. They're not even going to check, and this should be it for the round now. 10 seconds left. They've got to run onto the site. It's only going to be Keo left, and that's just a poor mistake from Faze, not checking some of the most basic angles, and they weren't exactly out of time. They still had 15 seconds left.
Who are you and what did you do with Faze? I don't even know anymore. There really is not much to say. There is no analysis that can be done. This is a complete 180 of what we were expecting to see. Team X, they are doing the work. They've walked away with the first official buy, per se. Faze, on the other hand, looking like they are on the back foot. On their T side of all things, we're on a map, Cobblestone, where for me, at least, I'm hoping you're in agreement here, but this map is vastly T-sided.
I think I'd have to be mad not to agree with that. Or maybe VP. No, they're pretty good at the CT side. That's about it. There aren't too many teams that can really show that CT side prowess. Either way, Modi going to be trying to hold this one down. It is just pistols, but for FaZe, that seems to actually be the better avenue of attack. Not really making things work with the rifles. Definitely mistakes being made, and Freeze just going to send Jacob back to where he came from with that AWP pick. Snappy actually going to be taken down by Rain, but not too much loss, and Freeze finds another in the meantime. Alu maybe a little bit late to pull the trigger, but whoa, what? Found it with the reaction shot, takes his head clean off. And that's just crazy. We will see Keo coming back in, trying to do something, finding 2 headshots and evening up the scenario a little bit, but he's still on 12 HP, has to connect this shot, just trying to pre-fire, and Valdez there again to add one more. What was that flick?
I feel like I could be back at a UK LAN event hearing someone just shout "see ya" at the top of their lungs, because that's what that feels like. He was just told, you know what, just go home. It's just not going to happen. Just a complete, wasn't even a 180, it was better than that. Just turning it right round, a complete one-tap straight to the face. And well, I don't know how I feel after that one, but I'd be pretty damn demotivated.
Salty, to say the least. Either way, was just a bit of a pistol round. They did manage to do some damage at least, so that's something to mention in terms of the FaZe side. They've damaged the economy, but already 5 rounds on the CT side for Team X. They're going to be feeling pretty confident about this one. It seems like their setups are looking pretty good so far on their CT sides, and well, really looking for these sort of can opener players to just take some rounds by storm. We haven't even seen any individual rounds just yet. Are going to be taking a bit of control over towards drop down using the nades, but Valde now going to be boosted up. He's 8-1. Last time we were looking at 13-0. He's still performing incredibly well, and there's Freeze once again. He's opened up so many rounds already. He's going to do it once again.
I just want to talk about Freeze, a player that's just, he doesn't tend to pop off every now and then. He's usually kind of that third marker. But we are seeing him just step up absolutely huge. He wasn't even one we expected to see, but he's just doing the work for his team. Kia, on the other hand, maybe the one player that seems to be awake for the Faze side so far. He will find himself one with a quick trade we're all in. Valley going to be the man to do the work, who's also just doing the damage in this game. Looking to take it one step further. He wants to claim the life of Alu. He's got an AWP in play. But Alu, he's just going to miss the shot, and it means Ali is there just to claim another prize for him to take, and well, it will be the AWP. So just kind of lying in wait. They want to keep it down to that just solitary AWP on Freeze, which I think that's fairly smart. I don't really want to see a double AWP setup take place on the CT side this early on. But overall, this is the exact same marker as we saw at the start of that first map, and it's the same sort of reaction. We were just as shocked, we were just as surprised, and we were going, Faze, you know, where are you? And I feel like we're saying the same thing.
Yeah, so far this has been one of the worst series I've ever seen from AZ ever. This has just been absolutely abysmal from him. Hasn't even been finding individual frags. Looking to see whether he can do it in this round. Going to go aggressive. He just has a Tech 9, a few AKs poured up. It's going to be AZ finding the frag. There we go. He's onto the board, but quickly traded out by Valde, who has been the much better player. But there we go. Couple of kills falling in. Freeze to even things back up. And HP definitely in favor of Team X. Now it's down to Keo. Always used to be very good at these clutches, but he's going to push straight into Freeze, who finds another frag to add to his collection, which is starting to build up pretty hefty itself. Just look at the board, 10-2 on Valde, 9-2, 7-2, and then you look at the other side. AZ just got his first frag. Alu's joined the British Secret Service. It's just crazy.
What can Faze do? Is there anything that comes to mind?
Get good!
Is there any thought process that really just clocks on, aside from just get good?
You aim your mouse, you left click, and then it hits the head. That's Faze's mentality.
Something is horribly wrong. I'm not sure what it is, but they're just not making anything stick. They aren't hitting their shots, and this is not the Faze that we know and love. And the problem they've got is they're not going to be making it to this LAN event if they don't walk away with at least this map. That is the bare minimum. That's right, that is the minimum. They need this map. And already it's not looking too good for them. They are just going to be mowed down where they stand. Rain, he might do the damage, picking up 2 for himself, but it looks like it's just going to be a quick trade coming in from Oddy, who's just lying in wait, waiting for his teammates to back him up. The flash is just going to be blinding Rain, and maybe he's going to see the light. Maybe there will be a thought that will come to mind to save Faze at this point, because if nothing does help them out very soon, they're going to look at themselves going home with a very swift 2-0. As Team X, they already have 7 rounds on the board, looking to make it 8. Well, Rain, he's the one player to try and top this one off. But even then, he's in a 1 versus 3. He's got 42 HP. He might have a smoke and a flash, but he doesn't even look like he wants to use it.
This is one hell of a performance from Team X, but a hell of a disappointment so far. Rain going to be trying to pull out a clutch, maybe able to bring his team back something in this round, but he is left alone, and Moddy's going to peek and find this one. Wonderful team performance coming out from X at the moment, and well, this is absolutely phenomenal stuff from them. Really, really impressed, but really scared at the same time, because this is not a forgiving tournament for Faze. This is one where they lose this, they're out. This will be the only match they play at the tournament. They've been one of those teams invited later on because they were high enough sort of seeding that we thought that putting them into the groups, no, that wouldn't make any sense. Well, maybe we were wrong, because at the moment they are not looking like the team who should be coming in at the later seed. Envious showed us that they can step up, that they can make these big plays, that they can win the series. Flip side, yeah, they went out, but not in this sort of fashion. They had some problems, but their CT side at least was still very strong. Didn't even get to see the CT side from Faze in the last map. May not get to see it again here if nothing changes soon. They've built up towards A. Freeze is going to be the one waiting for them, looking for that op shot. Will find one more blind. In the meantime, Snappy going to be waiting and stopping off the rotation. Spins and finds a second headshot, leaving just 2 left to face. Rain will grab 1. Starting to wake up a little bit here, but he needs to do so much more if they're going to get anything. A missed shot from Freeze, not said that too often, and he gets ended by Rain as well. Now it's back to the 2 versus 2.
The problem is, Glaive, he's wrapping on right behind. No one knows where he is, and he could just be pivotal because he's going to drop the bomb. He takes down AZ. Valley going to come in with a second frag, takes down Rain. And well, it's a nice dreams you had there, Tom, but it's not happening. They have been shot down once again. And well, it looks like you've just, I don't even know, because, I mean, is you spilling drink down yourself just your celebratory way of saying your hopes are gone?
I've spilt water all down my front, and that is just basically saying that I am wet for Team X.
Well, that's been said. That is not
That's
something...
X-rated even, there you go.
I don't think we can come back from that one. It's a family show, Tom, remember that. If we are going to be looking at 9 rounds up on the board. Team X, they are just being ruthless. Faze, they've got nothing on them at all, it seems. They're just struggling so much to make anything happen at all. And well, they might have an AWP in this round, they might have a rifle, but can they make anything stick? Because it seems the answer so far seems to be no.
Yeah, at least they have something to play with, but already 9 rounds on the CT side. Team X looking like they're getting ready to celebrate. Get themselves 1 match away, and it'll, well, that would be a great sort of matchup to come in later on. I do actually, wait, so they'll be playing up against Hellraisers. So there's a good opportunity for them. I was thinking earlier they might be up against Dignitas, but they won't. Valde going to find the first frag in this round, up against an AWP, still sat in the corner. This is where a Molotov needs to fall. Jacob has one in his midst, but just isn't using it. Well, that's going to leave them with 50 seconds left on the clock. A good opportunity to actually clear a player out of position. Now we're going to see a little bit of a switch up of where the CTs are going to reside. They're going to throw some counter nades in. They know there's players over towards drop. 40 seconds left, and they've got to try and make this play come in. Still a player on the tree waiting. It's going to be Valde, and they're really running out of time. They've got to start making this push soon. And, well, realistically, look at the positions. There's so many players actually holding off all of these different angles. There goes the flash. AZ, he hasn't spotted the player over towards tree just yet. They still haven't made any sort of presence known, and they're going to have to really explode at the last couple of seconds. Valde, he'll find the headshot. Everybody being cleaned up. Alu will manage to get one. So will Keo, and now they've brought it back. It could be a little bit close here, but they're very, very low.
The problem they've got 10 seconds to play with, Tom. That's potentially not even enough time. They have to go for a plant. It will be going for it, but now the bomb is down. But, well, Keo, he has fallen. So it's all going to be on Alu, this new addition. Can he take one for the team? Can he bring Faze the final round they need? As that clock is going to be ticking down. He's found himself too, looking for one step further. He should realise where the plays will come from. But Molly is there. But you know what? The most hilarious part about that round, Team X spent 25 seconds getting a player on top of a tree.
Yeah.
They were just kind of faffing around with the jumps, just getting their groove on, just loving life. That's, I mean, when I don't want to ruin Team X's play because they're playing very well, but when you're taking 25 seconds to set yourself up in a positional advantage and Faze are just, well, 10 rounds down, you have to kind of ask, what's going on?
Well, the thing that was weird for me there is Faze weren't actually doing anything. They weren't setting up smokes. They were literally just standing there waiting for there to be less time and hoping that someone would rotate because of that. But the fact is, Team X has no real reason to do that. They already had a slight advantage. They had more utility. They were ready and waiting. The time ticked away. They hadn't used too many nades. Everything was just in their favor. And now we're just going to see the straight-up rush B tactic come out from the Faze side of things, trying to make something work out of nothing. But look at all the damage. Valde's going to get 2 with a Molotov. And that nade alone has just done the damage. Glaive going to be trying to close this out. And Keo will fall. Only 1 frag dropped. And that is what counter nades are for.
I'm not sure if there's even anything to enlighten on now, because Faze, they look like they're just sitting in a dark room, the lights completely off, and they are just blinded with how to respond in this game, because Team X, they found 11 rounds consecutively. The utility usage is great. The frags, it's perfect. They've got players stepping up on all marks. We're seeing a great series come out from Freeze. We're seeing Glaive do some damage of his own. We're seeing Valde start to deliver their own, just prosperous effects. And, well, we saw Glaive do some nice damage in the series before. But why just Glaive when you can have every single member? Whereas on Faze, well, you might have a recent addition of Alu, but everyone seems to be struggling. There is no single player that can be pinpointed. I don't believe Alu deserves any hate at all for this. I feel like it comes down to just a broken team who just don't appear to make anything work at all.
Yeah, this is not looking good at all. They've got themselves the chance to get 4 rounds on the favoured side of the map. We were saying in the last matchup when we saw Envy on the other side saying, you know what, if they get 4 rounds CT side, they may be able to do this. 4 rounds on the T side, I'm not a believer by any stretch. We'd have to see every player turn up to this game, and so far I don't think we have any. Rain has had a couple of moments. We can say the same for Keo, but AZ has not been himself. I genuinely have no idea what's happened, but he's not even on the map. Already Muddy will take him down, grabs another onto Rain. This is looking like a complete cleanup with Muddy as the cleaner. And this just leaves Alu to try and save this one. Not going to be happening. He will drop Muddy at least and take down the cleaner of this round. But that's going to be it. 12-0. And I just want to bring a little point to you here. So you employ someone as a coach. Why are you not calling a pause? I get that he calls as well, but why not take a pause? That's kind of the point.
It always is a bit of an interesting question when you just sit down and go, why no tactical pause, why no momentum breaker, even just acting as a combo breaker when it comes down to rounds. But we're not seeing that come into place. We're just going to see, it looks like see another spray down come in. Faze, thank you for running into your deaths, because you're making this one seem just quick and easy for Team X. They're walking all over you. Alu, he's going to find himself one quick trace back on the board. Would be Glaive taking down Rain, unless Alu can get a 4K. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. He will find the first takes down Glaive, going one step further, trying to find a follow-up frag here, just rattling off a couple of shots here and there, seeing what will come his way. But what will come his way is a quick trip to heaven, because, well, that's him done and dusted. Snappy, the man to find the frag. And Team X, they're now on 13, and I have to ask the question, no caster's curse intended, but Team X, they have 13 rounds on the board. When will FaZe finally pick up at least one to stop the 60-0 from happening?
Maybe the pistol. I have no faith at this point in time. That like AZ has 2 kills. I think the most they have is 7. That's just not even showing a single player doing anything of any sort of standard. On the other side of things, well, I'm pretty sure if we do see the map's best players, if there's a single FaZe player in there, I will be almost surprised. I would be more than surprised, in fact, because this has just been dominant. There's supposed to be 5 superstars. It doesn't even look like they have 1 in this matchup. Glaive is going to be picking up 2. I think every single player on Team X deserves huge props. I can't deny that from them, but I have to say that what has happened to this FaZe lineup, that they are playing this bad in between like an hour, I have no clue as to what could possibly lead to this.
I do want to bring an interesting point to the table, and the fact that we're railing on FaZe quite hard, which is deserved, but perhaps could it be fatigue?
I don't think there's an excuse for that. Both teams have had the same sort of playing style. Both teams are from similar time zones. I don't know what... I feel like that's just a lackluster excuse. I don't think even they would want to say, you know what, yeah, that's a fine excuse. We were a little bit tired. I don't think anybody would accept that watching this game, saying, you know what, yeah, do you know what, FaZe, that's fine. You've just gone out of a 300 grand tournament because you were tired. I just can't use that as an excuse. Like FaZe AZ not being able to achieve anything, I just never seen that from him before.
They are on a 2 versus 2, but it seems like already it's not going their way. Freeze, he's going to do the damage with the AWP, takes down Kyo. Got to give props to FaZe for getting it this far. It's perhaps one of the closest opportunities they've found in the game, but will this finally be around on the board? That's the question. We're looking at AZ, this one man, 12 HP to play, struggling to try and get up on top of the platform to get the bomb. Will finally pick it up, but the clock is ticking down. He's got 8 seconds to play with. Make that 7, make it 6. And now he's got nothing to play with at all because he is dead. Freeze just stepping up in a very nice manner, 16-4. And Team X now, they're on 14.
I'm going to go out and say that this may be the worst defeat that FaZe have ever had.
That's pretty out there.
I'd say that they've been 16-0 by Fnatic, but that's Fnatic, and I don't even I think if you ask Team X, are you on the same level as Fnatic? I think they'd say no. But this is just a ridiculous match. They're getting dominated in every corner, every round. There's only been 1 or 2 where they've even brought it close, and they're looking for 1 here. Jacob will manage to open up the round at least by finding a first, but it's already been, well, a sort of trade frag. Not really seen any sort of tactical basis from this team, other than a little bit of nade utilage. AZ will get himself a kill, but he's taken a hell of a lot of damage, and, well, it would be an interesting case if they were getting their first round now, after being so far down. Almost a replay of what we saw in the last map, where we saw just, well, Kyo's old team railing up against Team Spirit, but at the same time, they haven't finished this one off yet. There's still a couple of players to stand. Freeze and Modi trying to bring this one back into contention. Plenty of time this time, and, well, it is going to be the first player dropped. They're still looking to bring this one back already. We're looking for a little bit of team play. There's Freeze pushing in. Now it's just going to leave 2 left. It will be Rain. Usually very good in the clutch scenarios. Jacob going to fall, and now they should be able to get themselves over to the site, but there is Rain. They know exactly where he is now, pushing back. Can they even win one? That's going to be the question. Modi going for the frag, and the answer, after all this, is no.
So now I have a question for you, Tom, and this is going to be quite a tough one, maybe, depending on which side of the coin you're on Cobblestone.
16-0, easy peasy.
That was kind of what I was going to ask you. Do you think it's going to happen? I've got to say, I feel like it could just happen. But it comes down to this pistol round now. FaZe, maybe a tiny shred of hope, maybe a little bit of belief of them taking the pistol round, but...
I just... like, what was the last pistol round, though? It was a 5-man, every single one alive for Team X. So, at this point, any faith in this team has just gone for me. I just can't. Like, I have to say is, these players, I'm big fans of a lot of them. Like, the reason I'm railing on them is because I know how talented they are. I feel like if I wasn't, it would almost be a patronizing insult. Oh, yeah, it's not going too well. No, I'm going to rail on you because you're expected to do better, and you should expect to do better yourselves. Anyway, the pistol round. We are going to see this push coming in. Snappy looking for the first. He will find it. The rotation is quick, but it's just going to be tapping away as Glaive gets one more. Now we're looking to see what they can do. Molotov going to be thrown out to slow down the rotation already. We're seeing what looks like the makings of a 16-0, one of the most dominant performances I've ever seen from Team X, but the same cannot be said from FaZe, as now they are 1 kill away from being 16-0'd on Cobble, and that kill is just seconds away. 11
HP for him to play with, and I've got to say, I feel like this may be the first 16-0 we've seen in this season of Starladder. I can't recall any other 16-0, so I think that might be it.
So, analysis.
They got wrecked.
I have got absolutely nothing for this one. Absolutely nothing. I don't think anybody at home is expecting some sort of mind-blowing analysis.
I do have one point. I think that actually is the first 16-0 of the European side of things.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't be surprised, because I don't feel like there ever should have been a 16-0.
No.
I've been some pretty ridiculous halves, like the 14-1 we saw in the last game, but at the same time, this has been by far one of the craziest games I think I've ever casted. Huge props to Team X. They're through to the semi-final. They will face off against Hellraisers, and they now have a really strong chance of getting through to a big, big tournament. I'm really happy for them. Congratulations. I hope that they make it. They really, really deserve it. Phenomenal play, but at the same time, FaZe didn't show any of the normal prowess that we see from them. They have phenomenal players, and we didn't see any of them on show today. And I'm hoping that maybe we can put that down to just the team play wasn't in that map, or something went wrong. Either way...
Just that map?
Well, yeah, the first map wasn't much better. That one was just a hell of a lot worse. Either way, that is all we have time for today. We will be back, hopefully, either tomorrow or later in the week, and we will be bringing you some more Starladder action from the Starladder I-League Star Series.